You've Got a Garden with your host, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. Carol Ann answers your questions about your flowers, your veggies, your grass, your trees, even questions about your bugs. And she's only on WOCA, so don't miss Carol Ann Baldwin and You've Got a Garden each Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. right here on WOCA The Source.
Your official news source, WOCA.
All right, thank you. 3 minutes after 8 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Galen Unold on the phone from Life South to remind us of the importance of donating blood and making his job successful, which he's been doing that for a very long time. And, of course, we always have a chat of some sort with Galen, and today we will focus on sports, basketball specifically, and college sports specifically. So let's go to Galen. Good morning, Galen. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, Larry, Robin. How are y'all?
Pretty good. Was it a good weekend for you?
Yeah, it was beautiful weather, just fantastic weather. So yeah, it's a good weekend.
And how was the game you went to on Friday?
The game we played. It was good. It was it was a lot of fun. Kids had a lot of fun. We played pretty well. Can't be upset about that.
Did your team win?
We don't really keep score on the Friday night games, but I mean we played well.
Good.
So that means either you did win and you don't want to say because it sounds like boasting, or you didn't and you don't want to say because it sounds like losing.
No, we really don't keep score. It's more like a practice
just
than
for
it
fun.
is anything else.
Yeah.
It's just about getting better on the Friday night.
So before we get into we have I think it's a pretty heavy topic, especially among sports people. It's the idea of paying college athletes, but we'll kind of hold off just for a second on that one. How's the blood supply?
Blood supply is okay. We're at 2.5 days, and for our O negatives, and 4 days for our O positive, and everything else is in pretty good shape. We had a really good day yesterday. We had our Galen picnic, and we had over 300 people there, so it was a lot of fun.
Oh, that was
wow,
cool.
Nice.
So, yeah, everybody was really impressed by the turnout. So
Did you eat?
Thank you guys for coming out.
Did you eat?
I didn't make it out there.
Oh, you didn't get there?
It was Sunday.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't. I wanted to, never made it.
So Tom must have gone. Now
I'm sure Tom was there.
Now we went to the other side of Silver Springs, and after we were there, we said, "Wait a minute, isn't today the picnic?" So we didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, so we would have been too late.
We were just playing. So did you hear Robin's comment from the lady at church?
No, I think I missed that.
Tell Galen what the lady you heard said. She overheard a lady at church.
Oh yeah, the lady at church said, well, she had lived in Alaska for 30 years, so she was going to root for the Yukons. So I thought, wow, cool. A team's all the way playing from Alaska, and then Larry told me it was the University of Connecticut.
Yeah, that's a different kind of Yukon.
Yeah.
So is that a common mistake? Is that common though? Do people think?
No.
No.
No. And if you read it, it's the letter U, con, C-O-N-N.
Right.
But
yeah,
that's what Larry pointed out. He said, no, it's not the Yukons up there.
That's pretty funny.
Well, the University of Bridgeport is kind of funny too because it's UB, and it almost sounds like you're cursing at somebody. UB.
Exactly.
Yeah. I knew a few guys who went to the University of Bridgeport and used to say that because they would wear their shirt, and I would just say UB. UB.
There you go.
All right, so we're a Fox Sports affiliate now.
Right. Yeah. On the weekend.
On the weekend. Yeah. So when we're kids and we're sitting in the back seat and we're listening to our parents talk, we learn from listening to mom and dad. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm doing now with Fox Sports. I mean, this is stuff you don't need to know, but I do. So I was listening on was it Friday or Saturday? When did it come? When did Florida lose? Was it Saturday?
Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday night. Yeah.
So I was listening.
Evening.
I was listening about 5 or 6 minutes before they were done, and the announcer on Fox Sports was just so upset because he wanted Florida to win. But he said, we got 5 minutes. There's no way they're going to win. So then, and as soon as they were done, I had this buzz on my phone because I subscribe to something on my phone where they'll give me updates on news.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, I knew it before the update.
That's right.
I knew it from the radio before the update. It was kind of cool.
That's pretty amazing.
That's the beauty of listening to things live.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that's why we love live radio. So tell me your thoughts on the what do you call it? The basketball championship, NCAA
Final Four.
Is it
Final
tonight?
Four.
Is tonight the last one?
Yeah, tonight's a championship game with Kentucky, and I think Kentucky will win. Kentucky and UConn play tonight. So, I wasn't at all surprised that Florida lost. Going in, the Florida team just struggles to score all season long. They don't have a guy that, when it matters, they can definitely get a bucket. And that person has been Wilbekin, but I didn't think he could score off of UConn's point guard. So that's kind of what happened. I mean, they went something like 7.5 minutes without making a bucket. That was the difference in the game.
And it was a big difference, right? It wasn't small. I mean, 63 was a 63 to 53. That seems pretty big to me.
Yeah, something like that. But it's really when you're looking at the score, it was never that close. After with 5 minutes left to go in the first half, they got up to about an 8-point lead, and it was never really that close. I think Florida got it down to 3 and even to 2, but you never felt that UConn was out of control of the game and that Florida was going to win. And that's what I mean by that. So even though the score may have been closer at times, it never felt like UConn was going to lose the game.
So after the game was over, there were a lot of calls on this live show I was listening to with Kentucky fans. And they were calling the announcer a fair weather fan, and he was just laughing at that because I think he was admitting he was a fair weather fan. I can't remember his name, but he was a funny guy. I'll get to know these guys. I'll be listening to him now.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they were calling him a fair weather fan. So he says, "Well, how much of a fan are you?" And the guy goes into detail about painting himself, giving himself a mohawk, painting his hair blue. I think he said. He had this whole list of things to just kind of prove his loyalty to this team.
Yeah.
To Kentucky, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why they're called fanatics.
Mm-hmm.
People do crazy things for their sport teams. That's what makes it fun.
Well, I think as a real non-sports person, I'm happy to see and I know this is nothing new, but it's still happy to see that college teams get a lot of attention. Usually, it's always the professional ones that get it, right? But national attention on college teams is only limited to this one tournament, isn't it?
Yeah, for basketball, and then the same is true for college football is the third highest rated sports in America. It's and it's really close to the NBA. Many believe it'll pass the NBA in the next 2 years. So
wow,
college football is huge.
Now that brings us to the payment part. Would it be?
Yeah, that's right. That was a nice little segue for you.
So would it change things, in your opinion, if they were paid? And this is a topic, and just, oh gosh, there was a commentator that I printed up his quote, and I don't have it really handy, but it sounded like he was saying it's inevitable that they will get paid, even if it is a stipend.
Well, the thing is this is an argument that's been going on. It's been raging since the 70s. Early 70s, even really when you go back to post-World War II and when scholarships really started. So this isn't a new argument. It's just becoming harder and harder to say no to. When you look at the billions of dollars that are generated by college athletes and in both football and basketball, and the rebuttal to that is always, well, you couldn't afford to pay every athlete at every school. In every sport, which is true. There's no doubt about it. So you'd have to figure out a way how the University of Florida could pay, let's be honest, University of Florida could pay every student athlete they have probably $10,000 a year, whereas you look like a school, let's say, that's much smaller and doesn't have the resources or the funding like FIU down in South Florida. There's no way they could afford to do that. They would go just absolutely broke. And so that's the issue. If you're going to do it, you have to do it across the board for everyone, in the NCAA's opinion.
Okay, so here's where I need some insight from a sports guy, and you're it. Would this create, if there was payment, would it create a situation where a student is going to the school strictly for the pay? maybe there's not even a course that he is taking that makes a difference in his other career. Maybe sports is his career as far as his thinking is concerned. I mean, wouldn't it disrupt that whole idea that these are students?
Exactly.
Well, and that's an argument that has been going on forever. Let's be perfectly clear. And I don't have the stat in front of me, but off the top of my head, I would say 85% of the players on that play a high level Division I football or Division I basketball wouldn't be attending that college if they weren't an athlete.
Oh, really?
All right. Yeah, especially if you're talking college football and college basketball.
So they already picked the college. They already picked the college based on that.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to college because of their athletic abilities. You look at the Kentucky team. They have 5 kids who are all freshmen, and they expect to be going to the NBA next year. And the only reason they went to Kentucky is because the NBA made a rule that you have to be at least, I think it's 19 or some arbitrary number like that, where you have to have 1 year of college or 1 year removed from high school. I can't remember exactly. So that's already happening. They lower the standards for student athletes to be accepted into the school. Now, once they get into school, they have to meet certain academic requirements, but they probably wouldn't be in that school without their athletic ability. So that's not really a factor.
Okay, all right. So thanks for clearing that up. So the idea that amateurism. See, this is what I don't understand. And you I think this is what you were saying, that a school with more money could pay, and those would be professionals. And a school with less money couldn't pay, so then you would be pitting professionals up against amateurs.
Yeah, not
well,
fair.
what is an amateur? By today's definition.
In music, an amateur is somebody who doesn't get paid. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Right. That's the definition of it. But when you're looking at athletics, when in the 70s and 80s, your Olympic athletes were amateurs, right? They weren't professional, athletes who are getting paid in their individual sport. That's not true anymore. They're all getting paid for it. The NCAA, if you're a kid, you're 19 years old, and the University of, let's just pull out the University of Larry, right? You have a basketball team, and your basketball team with those 12 players on it generates, and this is not a far stretch, $100 million a year.
Okay.
Okay, because of the ability of your starting point guard, who's going to be the greatest point guard in college basketball. He sells 15,000 tickets to every game. You have, 18 home games a year. Why shouldn't the person who's responsible for filling up that arena, who's responsible for selling all those jerseys, for increasing your TV revenue and your radio revenue, and increasing your booster contributions, why shouldn't that individual have a piece of that?
Because he's there to learn. He's not there
but he's not.
for the sports.
But he's not.
It's not fair to the other students.
So,
well, here's the thing. If this university didn't bring him there to go on and to bring academic prowess and exceptionalism in the academic world to their school, he was brought to that campus for the sole purpose of playing basketball. And now what you can look at is for example, when the University of Florida wins, their contributions expand tenfold, right? I mean, if Billy Donovan can make, I think he makes $6 million a year. He can make $6 million a year, but the point guard can't make even enough money to take somebody out, to even go to the movies.
Right. And don't they get in trouble just for giving them a gift, like
absolutely,
even a meal?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there are different Pell Grants and things like that they can do, and we could argue, they're getting a scholarship that's valued at say $100,000.
Yeah, they are.
But they are. There's no doubt about it.
So it sounds like
when you look at the number of student athletes that actually graduate with a degree, if they play football and basketball, it's not that high.
All right. So in the spirit of debate, I have a point, and maybe
and one other thing. When these kids sign a scholarship, it's not for 4 years. It's a scholarship that has to be renewed every year. And what you don't hear about is the kids that get hurt and their scholarship's not renewed, or they find out that, you know what, I can't play at this level and their scholarship's not renewed, and so now they're just a piece of meat. So there are some downsides to this, and I'm not necessarily for paying the athletes.
Okay.
I just think we've got to get something for these kids. And what I've heard that makes the most sense is set up a grant program so that at the end of their college career, they get funding of some kind, a stipend of some kind for what they do, because a lot of these kids have, if they're playing football and they have a knee injury, they could have long-term,
right. No, that makes sense.
Bills.
That makes sense.
And
So
so
it's a weak debate that I have, a weak point, I think, especially considering the fact that you're not absolutely sure that you want them to be paid. But going back to your question, what is an amateur? What is the definition? What separates an amateur from professional? And let's just look at that for a second. And let's say that an amateur is, by definition, somebody who does not get paid, and a professional is somebody who does. So let's say there's a small school with no budget, and every one of their players is an amateur based on my definition. Then there's a big school, and every player gets paid, which means every one of them is a professional by definition. Right. Mm-hmm. The small school has these one or two guys that are really talented and really good, and the small school really wants to have them there because they really make the school look good. But now the big school says, hey, why don't we dangle a carrot in front of their face? So now all of a sudden you're luring, because of money, you're luring these two talented, maybe just one talented athlete out of the small school who can't pay him. Of course the kid's going to say, sure, I'll come over there.
There's a couple of things with that analogy. One, once you have signed and you have gone to a school, you can't transfer schools without sitting out for a year, and you lose a year of eligibility. So you can't recruit from kids who are already in school. Just can't do that.
Okay. So then, I didn't know. Okay. Well, and I don't mean to interrupt, but I didn't know that.
No, that's all right.
But so therefore, what would happen is the high schools would be the target of the paying schools.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and let's be completely honest. This is already being done. For example, if the University of Florida wants a football player and FIU wants that same player, guess who's getting that player? I mean, when you look at the resources that are put into...
But how do they...
they are the haves and the have-nots there. That is absolutely happening right now.
Okay, but how is the student lured? Is it with money? Is it with gifts? Is it similar...
It's with... Okay, University of Florida is on TV. They play 12 games. They're on TV 8 times, 9 times, minimum. They have a chance of winning a national championship. They have state-of-the-art facilities, their workout rooms, their meal rooms, everything is the best, right? It's the best you can get. And then you go to FIU and it's like, okay, we're here to play football, and the facilities may be less than where you played high school at. It is already a world of haves and have-nots.
It sounds similar to payola in radio.
Yeah, it does.
Before I was ever in radio, there was payola laws. Payola was where you pay the disc jockey to play the record. Then they made these laws. You couldn't pay the disc jockey to play the record. So what did the record companies do? They gave us food. They gave us airplane tickets. They gave us tickets to Disney, which they don't do anymore for some reason.
Yeah.
But they used to butter us up with things that weren't money.
Yeah.
That's right. And now again, it's an issue because what are you going to do for the girls volleyball team that gets 2,000 people? University of Florida gets 2,000 people. Tickets are free. They're never on TV.
Yeah, right. That's a good point.
How do you compare that to the football player who's got a star quarterback and he's starving, and he can't help out his family, but he's generating millions and millions of dollars for an organization that is already
that's the
worth billions that doesn't pay any taxes. So it's not It's not an easy solution, but there are too many people out there who believe that this is the right thing to do. When you look at coaches.
Oh, yeah, the article is clear about that, yeah.
When you look at even the athletic directors, that the people who don't want these athletes to get paid, and this is the part that bothers me, are they're in two camps. One, they're already getting their scholarship. They're already getting this money. And to me, it's typically jealousy. And then the other group, and this is where I fall in, where you want this level of, I guess I'm just naive. I want the person to play there because they want to play for their college, they want to represent their school, and they love the game. And as more time goes along, I just realize that's such a naive notion that it's kind of silly to even think about.
Well, there's an opposite, too. Dante Culpepper graduated in 1995 from Vanguard. Everybody was all over him. He was the star quarterback. He wanted to go to the University of Florida in Gainesville, but he couldn't make the cut because his academics weren't high enough. So he ended up in Tampa down there. So why was he passed over by the Gators? Because he was such a starring athlete. And how come they didn't just grandfather him in? They looked at his academic prowess.
Yeah, here's what happened with Dante, and I got to know Dante pretty well. I covered every high school game he ever played. So here's what happened. He qualified late, and Steve Spurrier had already committed to another quarterback, and so they came back to him after he qualified. They wanted him, but by then Dante had already committed to UCF and fell in love with the coach and felt that they could really start something down there, and he decided to stay at UCF, but he could have gone to UF. He qualified just too late for it, and then UF came in late because you do have to have a 2.5 minimum grade point average,
and then he
have to have a certain level of SAT. It was his SAT that didn't qualify until late, and then he got that up, and then he qualified.
The article that actually stimulated the whole conversation is in Florida Today. So if you want to see it, it's in today's.
Now I'll
Florida
tell you
Today.
what's fascinating. The next big thing, and it just got approved and finalized by the law, by the court, is Northwestern football is forming a union. Now, what makes that fascinating is their biggest issue is safety. It's player safety and what they're doing with that, what their work schedule is compared to, what their practice schedule is and their school load. And one interesting thing, if you're a student at the University of Florida and you are on a scholarship, if you can still go out and get a job, and earn extra money during the summer. If you're a college athlete and you're on an athletic scholarship, you can't go get a job. Did you know that?
No.
If you do that, they'll void your scholarship.
Wow, I did not know
and
that.
And it's an NCAA violation. So they can't even go and work during the summer. Yeah, this is the NCAA.
Yeah, that
you
is
see
crazy.
that there's so much just going back and forth, and they talk out of both sides of their mouths constantly. They're constantly worried about the student athlete, but the second they can make a dollar, they do.
Okay, I'm asking you your opinion now. Are they reluctant to pay because they want to keep more of it themselves, or are they reluctant to play because it compromises the integrity of the sport?
Yeah.
I don't think it's either one of those. I think they're reluctant to pay because I don't know how the world they're going to manage it. Right? So once you open that can, once that can is out there where there are paid players, how do you stop it? And where does it stop? Does a quarterback get $10,000 and the left tackle who's third string get $1,500? How do you do that?
Well,
and that's the big issue.
Well, let me ask you this, and you might not know, and I'm not trying to throw you a curve, but I'm just thinking, what about the other students who are not athletes?
Exactly.
What about the art student who creates a piece of art? Does he get paid if somebody buys the art? Or the music student who composes a piece while studying under, Professor Musicology guy?
That's exactly right.
So they get a royalty for that too, right?
Yeah, they should all be treated fairly, all students.
Well, so now
all be paid.
Maybe I changed my mind just now, because I'm thinking the other students probably get paid for
of course they do.
The kid who invents something in chemistry class or something, right?
And why do you go to school? Why? And this is what I tell whenever I have this argument about, because invariably somebody says, "Oh, these kids shouldn't be able to leave early. They should have to stay in school for 4 years." And what I always say is, look, what do you do? Why do you go to college? Why do you try to further your education? To get a job, right?
Right.
And if you can get a job that's going to pay you $1 million, would you say no to that if you're a sophomore in college, right? Would you? And somebody comes out, and let's just say it's some winery. We'll just make up a word because I just saw the billboard, right? If you see a winery and they say, "You know what, Larry, I gotta have you. You are going to bring me so much money that I'm going to pay you $1 million a year."
Right.
Your answer would be,
of course.
Yes. That's a big
unless I was painting the Facebook offices, then I would take the stock option.
That's right.
But this
have a woman
is
every
the
day.
argument that we have. The second we bring athletics in, it all of a sudden has to be
absolutely
a higher calling. It has to be, it's good. And that comes back to our romantic notion.
That's really a wonderful way of looking at it. And actually, this debate did exactly what I want debates to do. It changed my mind about it. It really did.
I'm still on the fence about paying athletes.
Yeah, but I'm more open to it now that we've had this discussion. Galen, I'm not trying to cut it short, but we are almost out of time. But what a great broadcast you just gave us.
Yeah.
Robin, we need a segue from paying athletes and college athletes to donating blood.
Well, one thing that money can't buy is the human life. So go to Life South Community Blood Centers. No matter what your lot in life is, you can always donate blood so somebody else can live.
There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah. We could have gone on, but I think you did a wonderful job of actually turning. I don't know if you turned anybody else around, but you turned me around somewhat, and it made sense. It was a discussion that's the spirit of debate. I love that kind of stuff. I wish we could have done that with the other segment we used to do, but it got too muddied up. All right. So where's the Bloodmobile today?
Bloodmobile today, Larry, is we're at Spruce Creek, and then we are also at the YMCA today, this afternoon.
All right. If you can't get there, go next door to the Cascades on Silver Springs Boulevard. That's where Life South is. And Danelle, where is it, Robin?
Right next door to Sweet Bay.
Sweet Bay. Great piece.
Sweet Bay.
That was great. I really enjoyed that. It made sense to me, and I came out with a different opinion. That's the way I like it.
Good.
All right, Galen, thanks.
All right, you guys are the best. Thanks, y'all.
We'll take a little break and go to Fox News, and we'll be right back.
Fox News Radio, I'm Pat O'Neill. A possible breakthrough in the search for the Malaysian Airlines plane.
I can report some very encouraging information.
Angus Houston heading up the search operation in the Indian Ocean off Australia, saying a ship using US Navy equipment detected underwater sounds consistent with signals given off by an airplane's black box flight recorder.
Fox Radio's Simon Owen. Experts say it could take several days to determine if the signals are from the plane. A top Ukrainian official claims Russia's looking for excuses to send troops across the eastern border. Prime Minister Yatsenyuk says Russia's behind the seizure of several government buildings in eastern regions. A Hollywood legend has passed away.
Come on, students, just dance.
Mickey Rooney, whose career spanned close to 100 years, has died. Known early on for his Andy Hardy movies with Judy Garland, Rooney was nominated for Oscars twice. He was 93. Fox News. We report, you decide.
Hey, you guys, this is Lou, and if you don't want to be a dirty little bird sitting on a curb eating dirty white wines, you better head on down to Dairy Queen Silver Springs. They got the best, the juiciest, tastiest char-grilled hot dogs, burgers, solid filet of fish and chicken, and 90% fat-free pulled pork barbecue. That's a little sweet and a little spicy. You know, Dairy Queen doesn't use processed and formed junk like the competition. So come on down to Dairy Queen Silver Springs, home of the real $5 lunch.
Hello, gorgeous.
Hi, this is Becky at Hello Gorgeous Salon. We are located in the heart of downtown Ocala, right next to the historic Marion Theater. I'd like to invite you to stop by and see our new boutique area and meet our staff of professional stylists. Here at Hello Gorgeous, we are ready for prom season with updos and makeup. And with summer coming, now's the time to book your appointment to get that Brazilian blowout or start with your summer highlights. But don't stop there. We are a full-service salon offering manicures, pedicures, and facials also. So if you've been searching for a salon to call your own, come and see us at Hello Gorgeous Salon. We are located at 48 South Magnolia Avenue in downtown Ocala, right next to the Marion Theater. So call today and set up your appointment at Hello Gorgeous Salon. at 351-5358. That's 351-5358. And don't forget, we also do men and children's cuts too.
Hello, gorgeous.
This is the Salvation Army, and I'm Major George Patterson to let you know that the Salvation Army is available 24 hours a day to provide help to anyone. We also have a family store at 120 Northwest 10th Street in Ocala. On Tuesday to Saturday from 9 to 4, you can do your shopping, or if you want to donate, you can call 352-732-4469, and we'll even pick up 352-732-4469. All funds generated by our store go into the programs here in Marion County to help the needy.
News Talk 1370, WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults, so use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000, 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370, WOCA.
Hey, I'm Gary.
And I'm Eric. Did you